Hey, I'm Dave from Best Buy, and today we're going to show you how to grow your macro photography skills shooting flowers. The textures, colors, and shape of flowers make them the perfect muse for macro photography. That's why I wanted to come on down to Houston to meet up with pro photographer Annie Mulligan, who's going to show us how it's done. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the gear that we're going to be using today. For this shoot, we're using the Panasonic Lumix GH5 paired with the 30mm macro lens, but you can use the gear you're most comfortable with. Using a macro lens is key here. It lets us get up and close in a way that just zooming in with a non-macro lens can't. This is a mid-focal length macro combination that gives us tons of flexibility in how we shoot the flowers and maximum ability to make a number of great images. Check the links below this video for the macro lenses that we recommend for each different camera system.
Talking about macro photography today, and we're going to focus on 3 specific things. First, focus. Macro photography, focus is key, and getting it perfect is so important. Second, we're talking about composition. You can manage your composition by moving in and out and using different angles. Third is light. In a pretty controlled atmosphere, you have light coming in. You can use that light, you can add artificial light, you can diffuse the light. We'll go over all that today. Here are my basic settings for macro photography. I generally put my camera on aperture priority mode because I'm so close to my subject. I don't need an f2.8. I can use between an f4 to an f5.6 to really focus on a cluster of details and still blur out my background. For focusing, I set my camera on AFS. I focus on my detail and allow some flexibility in composing my subject. Since I'm shooting handheld, I would like to use a faster shutter speed, about 1/125th or above, so there's no movement in my photo. If I can't achieve 1/125th, I need to go lower, I just use a tripod.
So if you want to make the flowers really pop, I suggest using my favorite light, the Lume Cube. You can see it's super small, but very powerful and portable. You can see that it's mounted on the Joby Gorilla Pod, and that allows us to place it on the table and angle the light however it is that we want. You know what? We could even go on the edge of the table and loop it around right here. Oh, that looks pretty cool.
Flowers are such a crowd favorite for macro photography. There are so many tiny details that you can highlight and make really interesting photos. The first thing I do is look it over and I find the prettiest flower. And what really stands out to me first is this beautiful white peony right in the front. You want to check it out, Dave?
Yeah.
You see that? It's got some pink detail in there.
Looks
and
great.
So, because I want to highlight that tiny little detail, the most important thing to do first is focus your picture. With a macro lens, you can get really close, and those tiny details can fill the entire frame. Once my composition is set, I start looking at my light. I'm thinking, what's too bright? What's too dark? Where are my shadows? Because I'm looking at shapes right here, I think I can make a really even light. I have natural light coming in this way. The next thing I think about is lighting. We have some beautiful natural light coming in on this side, but because I'm on the back side of it, my flower is backlit. So I can grab the little Lume Cube, and what I can do is I can even out the light. So I have light coming in one way, the Lume Cube is filling in the other way. You see how it's doing that? Lume Cubes are great because they're so flexible. If you want really harsh shadows, you get really close.
Right.
You can make a very dramatic flower photo. And if you want to soften that light, all you do is bring it back. You can literally see what the light is doing as you're using it. There are so many beautiful shapes in this arrangement. I see these tendrils coming out. Yeah, look at, Dave, have you even noticed? Look at these tiny little white flowers.
Oh, they're great, yeah.
And so you don't distract the viewer from the tiny things in your program. You have to pay attention to your background.
Right.
Make sure, as you're composing your photo, make sure there's not any poles coming in. You don't have any distracting shapes other than the ones you're highlighting. Dave, if you don't want to introduce artificial light, a great tool to use, especially if you have a friend along, is a 5-in-1 reflector.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I happen to have one right here. This is the Insignia 5-in-1 reflector, and you can see that the silver, white, and gold will reflect the light, as well as the black side will block the light, and there's also a way to soften the light through diffusion.
A diffuser takes really harsh light and turns it into really soft light. So if you have a harsh, either artificially or natural light coming in, you can use a diffuser to soften that light. So Dave, we're using the natural light from one side, and then to fill in, see, without the light, you have a bunch of shadows on one side. In order to even out that light, but you don't want a harsh shadow, throw up your Lume Cube. Through a diffuser, you can even out your light in a very soft and delicate way. If you don't want to introduce artificial light, you can also use the natural light coming in and reflect it with a silver surface or the gold surface.
There it is.
Again, it's totally your preference. Natural light works, artificial light works. It's just using the tools to correctly expose your subject. Another detail that I see, you can see this beautiful carnation right here. It's got some shapes on the bottom, some shadow down here, and as you can see, there's like a rim light. So let's focus on that. We're gonna pop that natural light back onto the other side so you have a nice, even, exposed frame.
Oh, there's a lot more light now.
How's that?
Oh, it looks great.
Reflectors really allow you to light something without a ton of harsh shadows, and I think with flowers that works really nicely.
So there you have it. Remember to use your focus, manage your composition and angles, and use lighting to make your details pop. For more photo tutorials, check out the Best Buy YouTube channel or stop into one of our camera experience shops to take an in-person workshop or to check out the latest and greatest gear. To find a camera experience shop near you or to learn more about the gear you saw here today, check out the links in the description field below. Thanks for watching.